So first, we're going to talk about how you can make your pricing easy. And it's by looking at these 4 things: your take-home pay, your overhead expenses, your taxes, and your direct expenses. Now, some people don't even know the difference, what these are. So I want to kind of explain what that would actually mean to you. So your take-home pay is how much you want to take out of your business pre-tax, usually, before, after. So you've got to make that much profit to be able to take it out of your business. Your overhead expenses are the day-to-day costs of running your business. So not the expenses that it does to look after a client. So it's all the overhead expenses, things like your accountancy fees, your rent, your electricity. Vehicle cost is one, but it would depend on what your business is. So for instance, if you're a delivery company, then vehicle expenses go in your cost of sales, but most businesses, the vehicle costs go into your overhead expenses. And then taxes. So if you're self-employed, you pay tax and national insurance on the profits that you make. Now, it doesn't matter whether they're still in your business account, if they're in your back pocket, or if you've spent them down the pub, your tax will still be exactly the same because it's on the amount of profit that you've made in your business. However, if you're a limited company, it's a little bit more difficult than that. So you pay corporation tax on the profits, and then you pay dividend tax on your drawings. So it depends how much you've taken out of the business on what your personal tax will be. If, for instance, if you wanted to take, say, let's say £30,000 out of your business for the year, and that's what is going to be your take-home pay. So if we put 30,000 in there, and as I said, the expenses, so there's things that, whether you have no clients or if you have 100 clients, these things are exactly the same amount of money. So if you've got qualifications to maintain, that would be an expense to the company. So let's put those in at 350. And then advertising. Again, advertising is a little bit difficult because there's 2 types of advertising. So you've got advertising that is brand advertising, and this is a cost to the company. So things like your website, signage on your car, a business card. So things that just generate a brand going out there, but that don't actually generate clients as such. You can't apportion a client to that advertising cost. However, if it's an advertising cost like a Meta business expense, so you're doing adverts on Facebook and Instagram, or even on Google, these are a cost of sale because you can directly attribute those to the clients that come in from each of those things that you deliver on there. So if you can think about your advertising in 2 different ways, and this will really help you to understand the numbers and the gross profit in your business, which we'll go into in a bit. So the advertising for brand, let's say you spend about £500 a month on that. So that's £6,000. You'll have business insurance, let's go for £1,200. The vehicle running costs, like I said, if you are a delivery company, or even if you're a contractor and the vehicles are going to a job every single day, again, this could be a cost of sale, but you need to talk to your accountant about that and see what they think, where they think they should go. Accountancy fees, let's go for £1,980. And then you have a VA or a receptionist, depending on what kind of business you are. And let's say they're £1,000 a month. And then rent, let's go for £480. So if you've got actual expenses of £27,050, the amount you need to bring in so that to pay for both you, the 30,000 that you want for yourself, and the 27,000 that you need to run the business, you need to get £57,050 for the entire year. Now, as self-employed people, we do not get holiday pay and we do not get sick pay. So to divide this by 52 would be unrealistic because you're not going to work 52 weeks of the year. And if you are, then, we really need a chat. But it's paramount that you think about how many weeks of the year you actually want to work. So if we say that we're going to work, like we've got 8 weeks on holiday, so therefore we're going to have 44 weeks where we work of the year. So if we then, so per week would just be the 57. Oh, that's not going to let me do that. Divide by the 17. So therefore you would need 1,296. So therefore, when you're on holiday, you're not jeopardizing your income, because actually it's already in the weeks where you're going to be client facing. And then you need to think about how many hours per week you actually want to work. And this is client facing work. So obviously we do have other things. We've got to be working on our business, which builds the business, but it's not generating income. And if you're just you on your own, then you actually do need to think about how much client facing work you want to do. We all have admin, even if we have a receptionist or a PA. So I've put here that if somebody works 9 to 4, maybe working on their business either first thing in the morning or last thing at night, and they work 5 days a week, that's 32.5 hours if they take half an hour for their lunch. So if we divide that one by, and again it's not letting me do that, just 32.5 there. So you need $39.90 an hour. So when you're thinking about pricing, before you even think about what it costs to deliver what you're delivering to your client, then that's the cost. That's you've got to cover that, or you're not going to get yourself the 30,000 that you want to bring home, because actually the 27,000 will always come first. So then let's talk about taxes. So like I said before, we have different ways of being taxed dependent on whether we are a sole trader or a limited company. However, tend to, knowing what I do with Profit First, if you put 10% of your turnover away, so this would be what your 30,000 and your thing coming in, because your cost of sales is what it is, then actually if you put 10% of this away, it's probably a little bit too high. So you will always have a little bit of way in if you save it all the time. So I reckon if you put 10%, so by the way, to add 10% to something, to add 10% to $39.90, what you would need to do is divide it by 9 and times it by 10. And that gives you 10% extra. So actually what we need when we're looking at what our hourly cost to our clients are going to be is, in this scenario, we need $44.33.